What's a movie that was well received, but aged like milk? 1. The Blind Side. 2. Supersize Me. A documentary about a man who eats nothing but McDonald's. Entertaining, but you find out he was drinking heavily during the filming and made a lot of it up. 3. Idiocracy. Not because the film sucks, but because it went from being a silly ridiculous satire to a somewhat accurate prophecy. 4. Crash, the 2004 movie, not the 1996 movie. Won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Grossed almost $100 million. People loved it at the time. More than 20 years later, it's basically a study in how not to write stories about race and bias. 5. Revenge of the Nerds. 6. Beowulf, 2007, was supposed to kick off a brand new era of adult animation. It made $200 million. I have not heard anyone mention this film in about 18 years. 7. Braveheart. Maybe not for non-Scots, but that movie is loathed in Scotland as it builds on tired stereotypes. 8. The Salt Path. I live in the area and it was great to see its beauty on film, but I left the cinema demoralized by the message that Moth, who had a disability much like mine, was somehow able to navigate our steep and meandering coastal path, which I haven't been able to manage in years because, mind over matter. Only weeks later it was discovered that most of this true story was just made up. 9. American Beauty. 10. Pocahontas. Did very well with the general public and the music was truly out of this world, but I'd say that with the rise of the internet came more average white people self-educating about the truth of Pocahontas, how she died and how young she was, how abused she was, how manipulated she and her people were. For them to continue to make a sequel where she attempts to prove her civility to a heavily manipulated king of England and eventually falls romantically in love with John Rolfe, implying a nice happily ever after. Which is so gross. 11. Blank Check. 12. Milk Money was a family comedy about a kid who buys a prostitute, pays her to show him her breasts, and keeps her in his treehouse like a pet and brings her to show and tell at school. 13. My Best Friend's Wedding. 14. Get Him to the Greek.